The year is 1875. The air in the Harrison townhouse on Eaton Square hangs thick with the scent of beeswax and hothouse lilies, a fragrant armor against the cold-tinged breath of London. For me, Eleanor Harrison, at the tender age of 18, it is the smell of anticipation and apprehension. This is the year of my presentation at court, the year of my first season. It is, as my mother, Mrs. Genevieve Harrison, reminds me at every opportunity, the year my life will truly begin. Or, as I have come to suspect, the year it will be decided for me. My reflection stares back from the gilt-edged mirror in my bedroom, a stranger in white muslin, my hair upswept in a cascade of curls that took my lady's maid Sarah the better part of an hour to construct. I am a product polished and presented for the marketplace. My education has been tailored not to enlighten my mind, but to enhance my value. I can play the pianoforte with pleasing accuracy, if not passion. My French is passable, my watercolor landscapes inoffensive. I know precisely how to enter a room, how to curtsy, how to manage a tea service, and, most importantly, how to be pleasantly, agreeably silent. Eleanor, do stop fidgeting. Mama's voice, sharp as a stiletto, cuts through my reverie. She stands in the doorway, a formidable galleon in lilac silk, her eyes conducting a swift, merciless inspection. Your posture. A lady is judged by her bearing. Slouching suggests a laxity of moral fiber. I straighten my spine, the whalebone stays of my corset digging into my ribs as if to punctuate her point. Yes, Mama. And remember the rules of conversation. You may discuss the weather, the sermon at St. Paul's, or the latest exhibition at the Royal Academy. You are not to offer a strong opinion on anything, especially not art. Gentlemen find artistic opinions in a woman tiresome. It suggests an unwelcome intellectual vanity. This is the curriculum of my existence, a litany of prohibitions. Do not walk unchaperoned. Do not speak to a gentleman for more than 10 minutes. Do not accept a gift, save for flowers or confectionery. Do not be the first to arrive at a ball, nor the last to leave. Do not laugh too loudly. Do not appear too clever. Do not, under any circumstances, allow your reputation to acquire so much as a single smudge of gossip. A woman's reputation, Mama is fond of saying, is like a piece of fine porcelain, beautiful, precious, and shattered by a single fall. Tonight is the Abernathy Ball, the glittering apex of the early season. The carriage ride is a silent torment of last-minute instructions. My fan, an exquisite creation of painted silk and mother-of-pearl, rests in my lap. It is not merely an accessory. It is my vocabulary, my shield, and my only permitted weapon in this silent warfare. Mama had drilled me in its use for weeks. The year is 1875. The air in the Harrison townhouse on Eaton Square hangs thick with the scent of beeswax and hothouse lilies, a fragrant armor against the cold-tinged breath of London. For me, Eleanor Harrison, at the tender age of 18, it is the smell of anticipation and apprehension. This is the year of my presentation at court, the year of my first season. It is, as my mother, Mrs. Genevieve Harrison, reminds me at every opportunity, the year my life will truly begin. Or, as I have come to suspect, the year it will be decided for me. My reflection stares back from the gilt-edged mirror in my bedroom, a stranger in white muslin, my hair upswept in a cascade of curls that took my lady's maid Sarah the better part of an hour to construct. I am a product polished and presented for the marketplace. My education has been tailored not to enlighten my mind, but to enhance my value. I can play the pianoforte with pleasing accuracy, if not passion. My French is passable, my watercolor landscapes inoffensive. I know precisely how to enter a room, how to curtsy, how to manage a tea service, and, most importantly, How to be pleasantly, agreeably silent. Eleanor, do stop fidgeting. Mama's voice, sharp as a stiletto, cuts through my reverie. She stands in the doorway, a formidable galleon in lilac silk, her eyes conducting a swift, merciless inspection. Your posture. A lady is judged by her bearing. Slouching suggests a laxity of moral fiber. I straighten my spine, the whalebone stays of my corset digging into my ribs as if to punctuate her point. Yes, Mama. And remember the rules of conversation. You may discuss the weather, the sermon at St. Paul's, or the latest exhibition at the Royal Academy. You are not to offer a strong opinion on anything, especially not art. Gentlemen find artistic opinions in a woman tiresome. It suggests an unwelcome intellectual vanity. This is the curriculum of my existence, a litany of prohibitions. Do not walk unchaperoned. Do not speak to a gentleman for more than 10 minutes. Do not accept a gift, save for flowers or confectionery. Do not be the first to arrive at a ball, nor the last to leave. Do not laugh too loudly. Do not appear too clever. Do not, under any circumstances, allow your reputation to acquire so much as a single smudge of gossip. A woman's reputation, Mama is fond of saying, is like a piece of fine porcelain, beautiful, precious, and shattered by a single fall. Tonight is the Abernathy Ball, the glittering apex of the early season. The carriage ride is a silent torment of last-minute instructions. My fan, an exquisite creation of painted silk and mother-of-pearl, rests in my lap. It is not merely an accessory. It is my vocabulary, my shield, and my only permitted weapon in this silent warfare. Mama had drilled me in its use for weeks. His voice is deep, resonant. I murmur the requisite pleasantries, my heart a frantic bird beating against the cage of my ribs. Mama is radiating approval so intensely I fear she might begin to glow. May I have the honor of this waltz, Miss Harrison? He asks. With Mama's sharp nod of assent, I place my gloved hand in his. His grip is firm, proprietary. As he leads me onto the floor, I feel 100 pairs of eyes on us. We are a spectacle, an audition. The waltz is a public intimacy that is both thrilling and deeply unsettling. His hand on my waist is a brand of potential ownership. We move in perfect time, my years of dance lessons paying their dividend. You dance beautifully, Miss Harrison, he says, his voice low. You are a fine partner, Mr. Finch, I reply, the pre-approved script falling from my lips. I find the London season to be a rather tedious affair, he continues, a hint of conspiratorial confidence in his tone. So much empty chatter, but tonight it seems has its rewards. His gaze is so direct, so appraising, it feels as though he is peeling back the layers of my gown, my corset, my very skin, to inspect the woman beneath. A shiver, not entirely of pleasure, runs down my spine. I answer with a slight demure lowering of my eyes, my fan held carefully in my left hand, its message neutral. Over the next few weeks, Mr. Finch's courtship proceeds with the formal, inexorable momentum of a military campaign. Bouquets of roses arrive daily. His carriage is frequently seen outside our house. He is my partner for the first dance at every ball, my escort at every public outing. Always with Mama positioned a few feet away, a vigilant sentinel. Our conversations are exercises in banality. We speak of weather and horses. He tells me of his business, of ledgers and tonnage and trade routes to the Orient, and I nod and feign interest, my mind a blank slate upon which he can write his own assumptions. I learn nothing of his heart, his fears, his dreams, and he learns nothing of mine. He is not interested in them. He is interested in my suitability, my family connections, my blemish-free reputation, my placid temperament, and I suspect my child-bearing hips. One afternoon, during a supervised walk in Hyde Park, a moment of unguardedness occurs. We are seated on a bench,
Mama a respectable distance away, pretending to admire the swans on the Serpentine. A small girl, no older than 5, trips and falls near my feet, her bonnet askew, her face smeared with dirt and tears. Without thinking, I kneel, brushing the gravel from her knees and murmuring words of comfort. I straighten her bonnet, and she gives me a watery, grateful smile before running back to her nursemaid. When I look up, Mr. Finch is watching me with an expression of intense, unreadable satisfaction. "You have a natural maternal instinct, Miss Harrison," he says. "It is not a compliment on my kindness. It is an appraisal of a desired quality, like a farmer judging livestock. A most admirable trait in a woman." In that moment, a cold dread crystallizes in my chest. I am not a person to him. I am a collection of traits, a vessel for his lineage, a future mistress for his house. A week later, he calls upon my father. They are closeted in the study for an hour. I sit in the drawing room with Mama, my hands trembling in my lap, the silence punctuated only by the ticking of the mantel clock, counting down the seconds of my girlhood. When the study door opens, my father, a man not given to effusive displays, is smiling. Mr. Finch looks directly at me, a look of calm triumph on his face. "Eleanor, my dear," Father says, his voice thick with satisfaction. "Mr. Finch has done us the great honor of asking for your hand in marriage. It is not a question, it is a pronouncement. My consent is assumed, a mere formality." Mama's eyes are bright with tears of victory. This is the culmination of her life's work, to see her daughter safely and wealthily married. I look at Mr. Alistair Finch, my future husband. He is handsome, rich, and respected. He is everything a young woman is supposed to desire. I feel a wave of dizziness, a sense of falling from a great height. I open my fan and with a trembling hand draw it slowly across my cheek. "I love you." It is the first and most profound lie I have ever told. Our engagement is a whirlwind of social obligations, a public performance of happiness. There are dinners and parties in our honor, a deluge of congratulatory callers, and the endless, exhausting business of the trousseau. I am measured and fitted for dozens of gowns, for morning wear, afternoon calls, evening balls, and the all-important wedding dress. It feels less like a preparation for a life and more like the outfitting for a long, arduous journey to a foreign land. Alistair, as I am now instructed to call him, is a constant presence, yet I feel I know him less and less. His courtship gifts are extravagant, a diamond necklace, a sapphire brooch, but his affection is possessive. He dislikes my spending time with my unmarried friends, dismissing them as giddy and frivolous. He critiques my choice of reading material, suggesting that novels are a corrupting influence and that I should confine myself to household manuals and devotional texts. Each suggestion is a small chisel, chipping away at the person I was, reshaping me into the woman he requires me to be. The day before the wedding, my father summons me to his study. This is an unusual occurrence. The study is his sanctuary, a masculine world of leather, wood smoke, and finance. He sits behind his large mahogany desk, a place from which he has directed our family's fortunes and my own destiny. "Eleanor," he begins, not unkindly, "sit down. There are some matters we must discuss." I perch on the edge of a chair, my hands folded demurely. "Tomorrow, you will become Mrs. Alistair Finch. This is a great achievement for you and for our family. Alistair is a man of substance and standing. Your future is secure." He pauses, shuffling some papers on his desk. "It is important you understand what this means, not just socially, but legally. He picks up a heavy, leather-bound book. The law of our land is guided by a doctrine known as coverture. It is from the Norman French, meaning covered. Upon marriage, a woman's legal existence is suspended, or at least it is consolidated into that of her husband. The two, you see, become one person in the eyes of the law. I nod, having heard whispers of this, but never the stark reality. And that one person, he continues, his gaze unwavering, is the husband. From tomorrow, you will be a feme covert. You will not be able to own property in your own name. The dowry I have settled upon you, a considerable sum, will belong to Alistair. You cannot sign contracts, incur debts, or sue or be sued without his participation. He is your head, your protector, and your master. It is God's own ordinance. A cold fist clenches in my stomach. My dowry? It will not be mine. It will be your husband's, to manage for your mutual benefit, of course, he clarifies, though it feels like no clarification at all. Just as you, my dear, will be his. Your body, your property, even the children you will bear him, will belong to him under the law. This is the sacred covenant of marriage. It is for your protection. A woman is too delicate, her mind too sentimental, to navigate the harsh world of commerce and law. Your husband shields you from these burdens. He speaks of it as a gift, this legal annihilation. A shield. But it feels like a cage. The suspension of my legal existence. I will cease to be Eleanor Harrison, a person, and become an appendage, a possession, listed among Alistair Finch's assets alongside his house, his horses, and his shares in shipping lines. My wedding day dawns gray and overcast. As Sarah laces me into my wedding gown of heavy ivory satin, my reflection is that of a sacrificial offering. The veil is a shroud. The pearls at my throat feel like a slave's collar. Walking down the aisle of St. George's, Hanover Square, on my father's arm, I am a ghost at my own funeral. The funeral of Miss Harrison. The scent of lilies is cloying, funereal. I see Alistair waiting at the altar, his expression one of proud ownership. I see the assembled guests, their faces a blur of social approval. I am a success. I have fulfilled my purpose. The bishop's words wash over me, a tide of ancient patriarchal pronouncements. To love, cherish, and to obey, till death us do part. When I speak the words, my voice is a thin, reedy thing I barely recognize. The gold band Alistair slides onto my finger is cold and heavy. It is a manacle. The moment we are pronounced man and wife, a strange sense of unreality descends. I am Mrs. Alistair Finch. I curtsy to society, I smile for my husband, but inside, a vast, silent emptiness has opened up. Our new home in Belgravia is magnificent. It is a testament to Alistair's wealth and taste, a 4-story edifice of white stucco filled with heavy mahogany furniture, dark velvet curtains, and an oppressive museum-like silence. A full staff awaits my command, a cook, a butler, 3 housemaids, a scullery maid, and a coachman. This is your domain now, my dear, Alistair says, gesturing grandly as we tour the house on our first day. It is your responsibility to ensure it runs with perfect silent efficiency. A man's home is his castle, his refuge from the pressures of the world. Its tranquility is a wife's primary duty. My domain. It is a kingdom in which I have no true power. My first week is a crash course in the invisible, relentless labor of Victorian household management. I meet with the housekeeper, Mrs. Gable, a stern, gray-haired woman who clearly views me as an ornamental and unqualified interloper. I must approve menus, check account books, inspect linens, and arbitrate disputes among the staff. The household accounts become a source of immediate friction. Alistair provides me with a weekly allowance, a sum that seems generous until I realize it must cover wages, food for a dozen people, coal, lamp oil, and 1,000 other daily necessities. I am expected to manage it perfectly, without ever troubling him for more or questioning his allocation. When I once suggested that the butcher's prices seemed exorbitant, he fixed me with a cold stare. Eleanor, I am a man of business. I understand finance. You do not. You will manage the funds I provide. Do not question my judgment on these matters. It is unbecoming. My days fall into a suffocating routine. In the morning, I consult with the staff. In the afternoon, I pay calls or receive them, an endless cycle of stilted conversations with other wives, all of us playing the same part. We discuss our children, our servants, our ailments. We never speak of loneliness, or fear, or disappointment. To do so would be a betrayal of our class, a crack in the facade of genteel contentment. Evenings are for Alistair. We dine alone, the vast dining table a mahogany sea between us. He speaks of his day, of contracts won and rivals bested. I am expected to be a rapt, silent audience. After dinner, I play the pianoforte, or we sit in the drawing room while he reads the Times and I do needlepoint. The silence between us is not comfortable. It is heavy with expectation and unspoken rules. The marriage bed is the most terrifying territory of all. On our wedding night, he had come to my bed not with tenderness, but with a grim sense of duty and entitlement. He had taken what the law and the church had declared was his, with no regard for my fear or my pain. It was a brutal, swift transaction, leaving me feeling soiled and hollowed out. It becomes a weekly ritual I learn to endure with practiced passivity, lying still in the darkness and waiting for it to be over, another wifely duty performed. He calls it connubial duty. I call it, in the secret pages of the diary I have begun to keep, the payment of a debt. My diary is my only true confidant, a small leather-bound book with a flimsy lock that I hide at the bottom of my hat box. In it, I am not Mrs. Alistair Finch, the placid, perfect wife. I am Eleanor, October 12th, 1875. 3 months a wife. It feels a lifetime. This house is a mausoleum of my own spirit. I manage the accounts, I direct the maids, I smile at Alistair's guests. I am a ghost in my own home, performing the tasks of a life that does not feel like my own. He complimented me today on the household's efficiency. He said I was proving to be a capable wife. I felt no pride. It was as if he had praised a well-functioning clock. It ticks, it chimes, it tells the time. It does not feel. The emotional labor is the most exhausting part. I must constantly monitor my own expressions, my tone of voice. I must soothe Alistair's temper when a business deal goes sour, flatter his ego, and act as the repository for all his frustrations, all while suppressing my own. My mind feels like a cluttered attic, filled with discarded thoughts, opinions I am not allowed to voice, and feelings I must never show. I am becoming an expert in the art of disappearance.